I made a generator with just some wires and magnets. At the end of the video, we will see what it can actually do. Now, first things first, let's make a rotor that will contain the magnets. So now, I got a flat PVC and cut it to the size and shape I wanted. And I'll use it to make some kind of motor structure or platform on which the rotor will spin off of. Then I got an aluminum rod and a piece of wood I cut into a square. Now I need a hole that will pass through the wood where I will attach the rod. So I drilled that hole through the wood. The results are really amazing. Then I took the aluminum rod and shoved it through the hole I made. It fits perfectly. The rod has some glue stuck on it because I've used it for other things in the past. Therefore, it made it difficult for it to fit through the wood. So I got a sandpaper, stuck the rod into the drill and gave it a smooth finish. Now I got this sanding disc. I actually made this disc, so I will put the link to that down below so you can check it out. Now after fitting the sanding disc to the drill, I used it to sand off the rough edges and sides of the wood because I needed it to be smooth so that it can hold the magnets more properly. You can now see that it looks much better. Now I passed the rod through the wood and put some glue on it to hold it tightly. After some adjustments, I got the magnets to attach them with glue on the wood. These magnets aren't always like this. I got them from a large square magnet. Then, with a nail, plier and a hammer, I broke them into pieces to get what I have now. Be aware that when you glue the magnets, make them to be in north-south orientation. Now, after putting the magnets on the wood to show you this orientation, I attached a small neodymium magnet onto a nail. As you can see, these first magnets attract the little one, the second one repels it, the third one attracts, and the fourth one repels it, and so on, all while the small magnet was facing the same direction. This method will help you know the orientation. I did something silly by trying to balance the rotor when I didn't even do a professional work. Now it's time to make the stator, which houses the copper wire. So for this I got a nail and some PVC. The PVC will act as a way of guiding the wire and limit its extension. I drilled some holes on these PVC and luckily they fit on the nail very well. The drilling really gave me a hard time, but all in all, it was successful in the end, and the results are amazing. To me though, I got 2 nails and a pair of PVC because I thought I would be using both, but by the thumbnail we saw that I did not. Now I passed the nail through the PVC and glued them together. After the glue is set, I went ahead to wind the coils. Now, first thing you want to do is to bring out a good length of wire before you start your winding so that it will make your work easier at the end. Then with your hand, wind a few turns around the nail before you use a drill. One big W about having a drill is that you can wind your coils easily and much faster. Here is the final result. Now I twisted the 2 wires to make them hold together in place. Now I got a wood to hold the whole contraption. I used some glue to hold the winding onto the wood, and when it's set, I moved on to the rotor. I first got a PVC, drilled some holes through it for the rotor shaft. I tried as much as I could to get a little gap, so I used a piece of metal to separate the magnets from the nail so they don't just attach to each other. Then I glued the PVC to the board. Once it dried, I cut some little triangular pieces to help reinforce the rotor. Then with some tweezers, I put the triangles in their position and glued them down. When everything is dry, I use a box cutter to scrape off the coating that is on the wire. And after some prying, I decided to do a little taste test by licking the wires and spinning the rotor and
that tastes
so now,
good.
what's a generator without a load? So I got this little green LED, connected it to the wires and gave the rotor a spin by hand. It lights up really well and bright too. And that tells me that the voltage is going to be decent. Now let's move on to some white LED. It did really good as well, but I want to get crazy with it. So let's hook a drill to the rotor shaft and see what we can get out of it. The LED lights up really well. Even at low RPM, the light still works really well. Let's feed some higher load to it. This LED lights up really well. But what volts are we actually getting? Let's check this with a multimeter. So after connecting the wires, I made a mistake of pointing the dial to the DC reading. Therefore, it didn't really work, and I thought I didn't know what I was doing. In the end, I pointed the dial to the AC reading and it gave me what I needed. You can see that it gets up to 5 volts easily and then maxes out at 7.2-ish volt. I'm happy with the way this project turned out. Feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. Now, let's see what kind of current we're actually getting. So, after necessary connections, we can see that this generator gets up to 4 amps of current. It eases off at 2 and maxes out at 4. So, I'm giving a shout out to Zeneo Media, if I pronounced it correctly, who pointed it out for me to check the amps. Though honestly, I didn't have a reason for not checking the amps, but I still appreciate him for giving me a heads up on that. Thank you, Zeneo Media, and thanks to you all for watching. I hope you return next time.